sit here and see what's going to happen. See if anybody's going to get on there. We'll give it a minute or so there, guys. I'm going live with this, guys, because I just heard something a minute ago that I think it needs to be talked about, especially on Mother's Day weekend. I'm going to sit here and see if anybody's going to show up. It is Sunday night, probably close to about 8, so see if anybody's out there kicking it around on YouTube. Mother's Day, folks. I hope all of you that still have the chance to was able to spend a good weekend with your mothers this weekend. Um, there's some of us that can't do that any longer. Uh, there's a lot of them that people that their mothers have already died. My mother is still alive, folks. She's still alive. But she's being held captive not only by her mind because of or not autism, but dementia. She's being held captive by my sister and her kids, her sons. But I hope you guys all got if you got the chance, you spend some time with them, hug them, kiss them, tell them you love them. Because I right now I don't have that chance with my mother, and she's alive, and I don't have that chance. This is the first year in my life, in my adult life, that I've not been able to call my mom on Mother's Day and talk to her. Because up until last year, my dad was alive. And while my dad was alive, um, he would never not allow that. He died last December 21st, last year, right before Christmas. And my mom called me on the 22nd. She told my nephew that was living with her that she wanted to call me and tell me what happened to my dad. Although I already knew. So he put her on the phone with me on like the 22nd or the 23rd. And my mom explained to me that my dad had died. And I told her, I said, hey, I know, Mom, you don't have to tell me. I already know. Somebody's already told me, and just asked how she was doing. That was the last time I was allowed to talk to her. Last time. Now on right after the first of the year happened, that was first chance I had to get any money to drive down to Alabama and see my mom. And I did that. We jumped in a car. I drove straight down there. It's a 10-hour drive down. Uh, went to my mom's house. Went to the motel, called or texted my nephew, told him we were in town, wanted to come over. He was living with my mom and dad in my mom and dad's house, and told him we were going to come over and see my mom. No response. They knew we were coming. No response. So we went ahead. I went ahead and drove on over there. They I got to the house, my mom and dad's house. They had this place built now, and lights all off. My mom and dad's car's gone now. They had two garages, big garages, but my dad had shops built in the main garage right off the house, and then the other garage was half a apartment and half a garage that he kept lawnmowers and shit in. And but their car wasn't there, so I knew nobody was there. But I knocked on the door. I got the video on my channel. Nobody there, so I call, or I drive. My sister lives not far from there, maybe 3 or 4 miles. So I drive down there to her house. Made another video down there, and her husband that I've only met this husband, her first husband, I knew him from high school. They were married for 30 years. Then they got divorced, and now she's with this other man. But it's his house, his money. My sister's just a leech, and she's leeched onto him because he's got money. Well, she didn't come. I knocked on her door wanting to see my mom, and he answers the door. Doesn't say a word to me other than, I need to leave. And I said, well, you know, I came all the way down here to see my mom, and you're not going to let me? And he just shook his head and no. He didn't mutter another word. My sister's standing behind him with the door half open, closed, whatever, hiding behind him. And so me and my son turned around and left. I then called the police. Sheriff Blakely's sheriff deputies down there in Athens, Alabama. It's Limestone County. I called them. They got the video of what happened with them on my channel too. I'm not going to go into a bunch of that, but they still to this day, I turned around. I didn't even want to go back. I didn't even want to go back to the motel and go to sleep. I went back to the motel after talking to the cops. I got I told my wife, and my son was with me. I said, let's just pack this shit up and get out of here. This just feels wrong down here. Just so much evil. It just seems like somebody's wanting to harm me. And I wanted to get out of there because the cops told me I wasn't even allowed on my mom and dad's property. And all it would took is somebody breaking a window and blaming it on me, and my ass would have been in jail for vandalism or something, you know. And so my wife finally talked me in because I just drove 10 hours straight down there all by myself, and I was ready to drive 10 hours straight back to be back home. And she talked me into laying down for a few hours, getting some sleep. About 4 hours, I was back up, packing shit up. I was ready to go, and we got out of there. Within 24 hours, I drove down. It's 700 miles down, 700 miles back. I drove down to Athens, Alabama from where I'm at and back up here in less than 24 hours. But, or around 24 hours. But, people, this, I hope you guys got the chance because I didn't get the chance this year. And I may never get the chance again, so I hope all you guys got the chance to spend some time with your mother. Hug her and kiss her. Even if they've been, you know, even if they were mean to you. I mean, I not all mothers are good mothers, so. But I had a pretty decent mother, I gotta say. You know, at this point, I love my mother. That's all that matters. But anyway, guys, this, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on right now, and this stuff on Mother's Day, I'm watching this show, and they're talking, and then it's about what's going on in Congress. And there's a woman that gets up in Congress now. They're going to change us from being able to call this Mother's Day to, we can't say that no more. Can't say Mother's Day no more, folks. It's birthing people. Mother's Day is too sexist. So I guess 2021 will be the last time we get to call it Mother's Day. Now we get to call it Birthing People's Day. Just blows my mind. Blows my mind what is happening. And the majority of the people don't even care. Don't even care. What are they going to call Father's Day? I guess that's a birthing people's day too, right? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they're just going to erase that one. Have you guys heard anything about what's happening in Canada and with the churches? Anybody? Probably not. It's sad, folks. They're shutting the churches down 100% up there. They're telling me these guys are going. They can go to Walmart. They can go over here to the restaurants and eat, congregate in these restaurants, and they can go over here to the bowling alley and congregate, but they can't congregate in the church. There's a pastor to a church that he run these cops off the property, and he did run them off. And they the second time I can't remember. I think he run them off the property the second time too, but they waited till he left the property, and they left. And they sat outside the property when him and one of the other pastors got in a car to leave the property. They were basically surrounded. They were told they were under arrest for not following something to do with COVID restrictions or whatever. But they pulled and these two guys were 70, probably 72 to 76 years old preachers of a church. They're not out here harming anybody, folks. They're not harming anybody. And they get dragged out of their cars, put down on their knees, two cops, one grabbing one arm, one grabbing the other, twisting their arms behind their back like they have killed somebody, robbed a bank, raped 20 women and left them for dead, been buying and selling children for the last 10 years. That's how they treated these two. And all I know, people, is I'm not even sure what their religion was. And I know they kept repeating it was a Polish church of some kind. I believe it was Christian. I don't know. I'm not even worried about what religion it is. I'm just telling you what they did to these two gentlemen at this point that were causing no harm to nobody. Not pointing a gun at anybody to make them come into that church, that made them want to go in there for services or whatever they wanted out of that church. We in this country, folks, it don't matter what church it is. It could be the Church of Satan. And according to the Constitution, the people have the right to go in and out of it and do as they want in that church. I would not stop it. I would fight it from the other. I will fight it. I don't want to stop them from having that right. They still have the right. Our Constitution says they have the right to whatever religion. I don't want to stop their religion. That's what they want to believe in. That's what they want to worship. That's on them. I have no problem with it. As long as they don't drag me into theirs. I won't drag them into mine. If I know that's what they want, I won't even talk to them about anything else. I will if they want to talk about it, but I'm not going to force it on them. They've already got their beliefs. It's going to take something major to change them. Now, these guys that think they're going to stop calling Mother's Day and start calling it birthing people's day is ridiculous. Hey, Tony, I see you out there, man. Appreciate you. And this is why they keep getting away with just like this crap up here in the courtroom. I keep telling you guys, man, if you don't know what the laws are, then there are no laws for them. They can say whatever they want, and they've got you. And now they're changing our speech again. You know, and this is I've told this to people. I don't know how far you'd have to go back into my videos, but the language, the English language alone, was put into place to control us all, because they change the definitions every few years to words. They don't tell us they change the definition, but they change the definitions to words so that they can pass laws that sounds like they're doing it for a good thing, but it really isn't. Now, at the time that they came up with the English language, there was like 200, at the count that I came up with, like 265 different languages at that time when the English language was brought up. Now, why in the hell would anybody need, when you got 260 some more languages already on the earth, why would you need another language unless you had a reason for it, a major good reason for it? And that's the English language. Come on, we got how many different ways can you say and spell the word there? All these different words, man, that you can spell them different ways. There's silent letters in some words. Come on, people. Come on. This stuff is a joke, man. It's a joke. And this is why I always talk about what they call legalese, because that's exactly what they do with the laws when they're writing these laws. They're using the English language so that you think you can understand it. They might as well be using beeps and fucking blurps, because even though they're using the English language, you couldn't understand it if you wanted to. There ain't a law they pass that you can understand unless you have what they call, it's a reference dictionary in the back, usually like in a book or a school book or something, where you got definitions in the back and references in the front. Well, they're there for a reason. That's how they do laws. You know, you have laws that says, okay, all civilians must pay income tax. Well, if you look up the word civilian, it doesn't have nothing to do with a flesh and blood human being. It has to do with a corporation, a made up fictitious being that is your name in all capital letters. But you can't ever, you go into these courtrooms or something and ask them, what jurisdiction are we working on? I swear, that's my favorite line in a courtroom, folks. My favorite line, because you'll never get anybody in a courtroom to answer what jurisdiction they're working under. I have been in so many courtrooms and asked that very question, and they give me many, many answers. Oh, well, you're in criminal court. Oh, I am? Okay, well, who's the victim? Oh, well, this isn't that criminal court. We're actually the juror or some kind of municipal, and they just go on and on. And it's all bullshit, folks. It's all bullshit. They're doing things that aren't legal, and as long as you don't know it, they get away with it. Just like up in Girard, Ohio, when I first moved here, and they were doing them photo radar tickets off of the bridges. Well, hell, that'd been going on for a long time until my wife got a ticket in the mail. And my videos are on my channel about the whole damn thing. Well, I went over to that police station, and I was talking to the people behind the glass, trying to ask questions about this ticket. It was a picture of my wife's car, which is the car I use to do what I do, Uber Eats, is not listed in my name. I cannot have nothing in my name, folks. They won't let me own anything. My 1998 Jeep Cherokee sitting right over there. I put that stupid thing in my name, and the state of Indiana now holds the title with a lien against it. So I have nothing in my name. So the car I use for Uber Eats is in my wife's name. And hell, where was I even going with this? I don't even know where I was going with this now. Oh, well, hell. I'll get on something else in just a minute here, or I'll figure out what I was talking about. Anybody got any questions out there? Want to throw a question at me here? Let me try to get my thoughts back together. Because I was just going off when I was talking about whatever I was talking about. Hell, I can't remember anyway. I'm going to pull these notes over here and I'm going to look at this. There's something I've been wanting to, I've been looking at. And it has to do with, this whole, we're destroying ourselves with global climate change or global warming or global freezing or global whatever we're doing, folks. And they're saying it's all us, and it's the cow farts and the pig farts and all this is killing the earth. And according to them, we should all kill ourselves before we allow the earth to die. That's what they truly believe. We should all kill ourselves before we kill the earth. It's a joke, people. And they do, that's the story they tell you. That's why you got these people walking around here. They look at me and say, I walked in to pick up some food the other day, and an Indian, it was they were like a store, dot, not feather, Indian. They were like a store restaurant. They had this specified in Indian food things. And I've only been in there a couple of times. And this little small 4'8", 4'9" woman standing behind the counter had a problem with me walking in her store without a mask on. And I explained to her, she asked me, where's my mask? And I explained to her I didn't have one because I have health problems. And she asked me, and she just pushed everybody else aside and said, well, what can I do for you then? And I said, well, I'm here to pick up some food. And I gave her the name. And she told me, she looked at me and said, well, you're in the wrong business if you can't wear a mask. You're in here infecting everybody in my store. I said, lady, all you got to do is if you don't want me in your stores, tell me to leave and don't come back. I won't ever step foot back in this place again. And so she did. And she thought that was a good thing. She thinks she's protecting herself and her employees and her patrons. She's such a fool. She's falling for the lies. That right there is the perfect description of the devil's herd. Right there. She don't even know it. She don't even know she's a part of the devil's herd, and she's pushing the devil's agenda. Satan's agenda. Satan and devil work together, and then they got their devil's herd, which are the people that are backing all this. The people that are going to tell me that look at me and say, well, you ain't wearing a mask for you. You're wearing a mask for your daughter or your son or your granddaughter or your friend or whoever. Oh, okay. That's why you want me to put a mask on for them? Okay. I'm game for that. I'm game. Come here. Come right over here to me. Let me take these two hands and wrap him around your neck and start choking you down to where you only are capable of getting 30 to 40% lung capacity into your lungs. That I'm choking you down so much around your throat that you can only fill 30 to 40% of your lungs with oxygen. And then let me smack a mask over your nose and mouth and let me see what kind of panicking you do. Have you ever heard of waterboarding? Have you ever been through it? Same thing. Aggravates the hell out of me, you people. Or these people tell me I should put a mask on to save somebody else. Well, you should take your damn mask off in order to save your own life, your own soul. If you needed a mask over your nose and mouth in order to survive on the earth, God would have put that mask over your nose and mouth. Or when you evolved from a monkey, you would have grown that mask over your nose and mouth through evolution, if that's what you believe. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. But anyway, get back to this, carbon-based earth. They're saying, the pig farts and cow farts is killing it. The hairspray is killing it. Nothing to do with the damn fact that they spray the air every day with these damn planes and all the chemicals that they're sticking in the damn air. Has nothing to do with that because they do that every day. Oh, that's vitamins. That's what Trump told us. Oh, that's vitamins, and I stopped the bad stuff. If this is just vitamins and good things, it's going to make you healthy. You Trump believers deserve everything you get. Everything you get. But anyway, let me go back and tell you something, folks, because I'm getting to this carbon thing and plants and, probably 30 years ago, or not 30, but probably somewhere between about 23 and 27, let's say, years ago. I moved up to a town called Walden, Colorado. Coldest damn place other than Wyoming. Coldest damn place I ever been to in my life. You had to have the sun shipped in up there by freight train because there wasn't no way the sun was getting up there. That was back so far back in the woods and nowhere. It was nothing there but a little. If you blinked your eyes when you drove through town, you would have missed the two gas stations, the post office, and the two cafes that were in town. The rest of the town was ranchers, and they, cattle ranchers, horse ranchers, whatever they were raising up there in the damn snowy mountains. It had to be horses and cows. But if you didn't work there, the only other place that you would have made any money, and I worked there, was the sawmill. The sawmill. Either that or you worked at the one or two gas stations or the cafes that were in town. I mean, if you couldn't ranch, and I couldn't ranch, I can't be around horses. I'm deathly allergic to them. So I couldn't be a rancher. So I had to go to the sawmill. Now this sawmill, man, we were up in the woods, buddy, up in the mountains. There was wood everywhere. I was hired on to be security, which I've been hired on to be security at a lot of places. But this is up in the damn woods, man. Hell, most of the places I worked security, it was in, major towns and stuff where you actually seen people, I worked security at this sawmill at night. Now, as security officer, they had this damn big ass front end loader that had 2 flights of stairs you had to walk up to get in it. We called it the Bigfoot. because these tires were about 4 times the size of me. But I would use this. They would load this lumber. They bring the logs in from the woods here at the sawmill, and they cut them up into whatever 2x4, 4x8s, whatever, and then we put them on these train cars, load them on, stack them real high, and then they had these ovens that they had to be moved into, and they would hold. We had about, I think it was 4 or 5 big ovens, but each oven would hold several train cars. So it took this big ass, we call this Bigfoot front end loader, to move these train cars around with all this wood on it. But it was part of my job to see to it that I'd have to go inside, turn these furnaces off, and let them cool down enough where I could go inside and measure the temperature of or how much humidity is still in the wood while it's in there drying it out. And I'd have to do that. And if they were dried enough, I'd have to hook up to these big train cars and pull them out of them ovens, and then pull some new ones in there and get them running through the drying process. Fresh trees, being cut down. Well, back at, like I said, that was 25 years ago. Now, we took a trip, me and my wife and my son, went back there to see some family members and stuff that lived back in there. A few years back, just maybe like 7 or 8 years ago. I went back there to where this, all the logging had stopped. All the logging had stopped. The damn sawmill been shut down. Pretty much wasn't nothing but ranching going on. And even ranching was being hurt just a few, 7, 8 years ago. But these guys, I went over by where that sawmill was, man. They not only ripped the sawmill, the buildings down, all the equipment out of there, they moved everything. They pulled up every hunk of track, removed all the train tracks, everything, man. Them trains are never coming back. They wouldn't have removed the stuff if it was going to be coming back. They removed all the tracks and everything, folks. Now, me and my wife, I had a Dodge a Jeep Grand Cherokee back then when we took that trip. And where my wife's family lives, they own a bunch of acreage up around this mountain and on this back in the woods. So I told them, I said, man, I want to go back in there and go back on the property, And I got a Jeep. They go, well, go for it. You got to go open that gate up over there and bust your ass. Go everywhere you want to go. So we did. We jumped in my Cherokee, my wife, and my kid, my son, and shit, and we went back in there. Well, you get back in there looking at these woods, folks, and you couldn't even hardly walk through the woods because there was so many trees that had fallen and was laying across each other and shit. There was no way you could ride a horse through it. No way you could ride a horse through the woods. And I was looking around and going, what the hell? What the hell happened to all these trees and shit? Now, this was back before all these big fires the last few years. And so I started talking to these people around. And they started talking about these beetles. Oh, these beetles came in here, man, and they just destroyed the lumber and killed it. And got rid of they was trying to tell me that's what got the sawmill taken. Bullshit. Regulations. Government what got that sawmill removed. But these trees, people, it was so thick. These big ass pine trees and shit have all died and fallen over and on top of each other. You could barely walk through the woods, let alone ride a horse, drive a fucking truck or anything through this stuff. And then what happens here? About 4 or 5 years ago, these major fires start kicking up. Explosions happening, coming from what they say is satellite. And these explosions, they're calling them dew weapons and all this shit. How many square miles of trees have they burned in the last few years out west, folks? People, come on. You guys have seen the fires. We've had family members around the fires. Don't matter from Arizona all the way up to Colorado. The smoke was affecting the skies on the East Coast from what was burning on the West Coast. Burning up the trees, folks. Burning up the trees. What do the trees do? Johnny boy, hey, I see you, man. Caught me live, huh? What do the trees do, folks? Give us oxygen. They breathe in the carbon that we breathe out. We feed them, they give us oxygen to live. They're burning the tree. How many square miles did they burn the last several years, folks, of trees? How much nature did they kill in all this? How many people died in all this? They're working on the oxygen. They're trying to kill everything that's millions of acres. I know it, man. I know it. Millions of miles almost anymore, man. You start looking at all that out there, square miles, man. It just seems like everything was burnt. Now, and I've always traveled, and there was times when big fires happened, and I seen big fires. But man, you can drive for miles and see this shit. They produce oxygen. Everything that is going on today, people, they are attacking the oxygen. How do you think they're going to knock us down Georgia? Here we go. Here's another lapse. Georgia. What happened down there? Georgia, Jekyll Island is what got us our greatest democracy in the world with the Federal Reserve and the IRS. Jekyll Island, Georgia. Thank you, Georgia. Now we got a thing down there called the Georgia Guidestones. 500 million people or less on the earth. Thank you, Georgia. Thank you, Georgia. What is it with Georgia down there? Is that where Satan lives? It must be. It must be. That or he lives up here in Boardman Township for sure. I don't know. One of those two places. But anyway, back to this carbon shit, people. You know, I'm looking at notes right now because this has gotten, I went off so fucking far on this. The plants need the carbon. We need the oxygen that they put off, you know. The more plants they destroy, the more oxygen they're cutting off from us. What else are they doing? They're spraying the skies. Come on, people. If this was true, if everything they said was true about the ball Earth, no firmament, no barrier between us and space. If all that is true, then why would there be pollution on the Earth? Why wouldn't it all just seep right out into that empty space? What's holding it in? Something's got to be holding it in. Oh, no, that's gravity. Gravity holds pollution. Now, oh my God, I don't know who wrote all that, but I'll have to come back to that later. That's Tony, I'll have to come back and catch that one, man. Let's see. Someone once told me. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, man. Hey, believe me on that, Tony. I know what you're talking about. And that's why I started the way I did. And I told this judge from day one, in the courtroom I never pled to anything, Tony. I didn't plead shit. And I told him, I said, listen, Your Honor, this is all about a mask and shit. I said, I don't even understand the jurisdiction that's going on here. I've got some questions to ask about the jurisdiction. And before I can even make any kind of an honest plea or what they call it, where you've thought about it, contemplated what kind of plea you want to make, how can I do that if I don't even know where to start? If I don't know what the jurisdiction is, how can I even start to make a plea? Well, he looked at me. That ain't that. We're not here for none of that. That's later. You can find all that out. Because I don't make a plea until I can make an informed plea. That was what it was. And this judge looked at me and said, and he made his own plea. He made his own plea for me. And he's been doing all this all the way through, folks. And I'll tell you what, it's going to either be Monday or Wednesday. I'm going to get them recordings. And I'm going into the courtroom. They're going to play them for me, and I'm going to record them to my phone so that I can bring them back and put them on my YouTube channel. Guarantee it. And you're going to hear what these people have done to me. You're going to hear what they have done to me. And you're going to hear what I said to them in court. And I stand by what I said. But I promise you, these guys, this judge, man, I'm going to tell you right now, Tony, this judge, he thinks this is what he truly believes, 100%, that he's not only the judge, he's my defense attorney, and he's going to be the juror, and he's going to be the executioner if it comes to that. This is what a judge is in Boardman Township, Ohio. He's the judge. He can make decisions for the defense at any time. He can claim he don't need to do a jury trial, even in a criminal investigation. Hell, he don't even need a victim in a criminal. The state can be a victim in a criminal in the criminal investigation in this courtroom. And these guys think this is all okay. No, believe me. That's why I'm trying to get these recordings, Tony. I'm serious. And when I get them, there's one thing I have not brought up, and I'm waiting until I get the recording because I want you to hear what this judge said to me in that courtroom. And I'm not going to even mention it until I get the recording, and it's going to blow your mind. Oh, yeah, believe me. That judge entered a plea of not guilty. And he entered a plea of also a speedy trial. He's entered a plea. This judge has entered everything without me. And a matter of fact, on my pre-trial just here last week, he was asking me if I wanted a speedy trial. And I said, Your Honor, you done made all the decisions up to now. Go ahead and finish it. It's your show. You're gonna go ahead and finish it. And I'm gonna show you. I told him this when I get the recordings, and I will get them. They're playing with me right now. They give me a blank disc, tell me it's on there, and I can't find anybody around that can play this disc, but they claim they can. And the judge has ordered them to play it for me in the courthouse on one of these days. But I got to get it all set up for it to happen. And when they play it, I'm going to record it to my phone, and you can damn sure bet they're going YouTube. So make no mistake, guys. This thing is it's kind of gotten stupid. It was funny. It got real, but it's gotten stupid now. Looks like right now, I've got to go outside of the state of Ohio because nobody in this damn state of Ohio, for some reason, will even look at a civil lawsuit right now. And I'm telling you what, I've got videos to back my stuff up. I've got videos. We're not going by no assumptions. We're not going by no hearsay. We're going by straight up videos. And I can't find a lawyer that wants to take on maybe even a multi-million-dollar freaking civil lawsuit, not to mention the fact that my disability rights have been violated, or they're threatening to violate them again, and my constitutional constitutionally protected God-given rights have all been violated in the last year and a half under the color of law. That's Title 18 U.S. Code 241, 242. There's some major fines and can lead up to even the death penalty for these people involved. If I was to die because of all this, it could lead up to their death penalty. That's how important this Title 18 U.S. Code 241, 242. Deprivation of rights under using the color of law to do it, and conspiracy to do that. And that's exactly what they've done here on me. But it's coming out. It's coming out. They won't even tell me what any evidence they have. I'm in a trial right now. I'm past a pre-trial, and they have showed me no evidence of any facts that they have to charge me with anything so far in this trial. So we're going straight into the trial, and even the prosecutor's office is not even giving me one fact other than a police report that was written by a corrupted police officer that lied from the get-go. That's all they've got. And I haven't heard nothing different. I'm my own lawyer. They don't have a lawyer to call and try to talk into some bullshit. I'm a matter of fact, that's something I'll be filing for. He's going to try to do a judge trial. And because he claims he can do a criminal trial where the state is the victim and we don't have to be in a federal court for that. That's what they claim in this county, Mahoney County Courthouse. They claim that there can be criminal charges where the state's the victim, and we're not in a federal courtroom. We're in what is this? It's a misdemeanor, class 1 misdemeanor, lower courtroom. I'm telling you, I've asked for the oaths of the judge, the cops, everybody, just to get their oaths, just to see. The judge won't give up his, of course. I mean, I could force it, but I ain't gonna do that. But people, I think I've went on long enough. What do you guys think out here? Anybody got any questions? Let me see if I can get these to come up here. I am pushing for the jury trial. I'm going to file for that here next week, John Boy. That's always been planned. What I'm trying to do is, since how the judge has been making all the decisions, he decided for a speedy trial. So I'm going to. I let him do. He's done it all the way up. I'm going to let him continue to hang himself. So in this trial, I can ask for continuances and stuff for certain reasons, and while filing things, and that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to file things, and as I do it, ask for continuances in order to wait for the answers or whatever. So this ain't, my trial date's actually for the 18th, and nobody's asked me to help pick out any jurors. So we already know the judge is already figuring he's going to be judge. He's going to be my defense attorney, and he's going to be the jury. And I'm sure executioner when it's done and over with. 4 things of the courtroom that the judge gets. I mean, don't everybody want to be a judge? Hell, you got it all, man. No rules whatsoever. You got it all. It's a joke. It's a joke, folks. But you know what? We all got it coming. We've all allowed this shit to happen. You and I and everybody, all these so-called vets that swore oaths. If every vet that swore an oath kept his oath, the Constitution would be stronger than it was the day it was written. There's too many veterans out here. That thing would be so strong, there wouldn't be a politician to touch it. There ain't no truth to that. No veterans ever kept his oath. Sorry, folks. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to get off here. It's probably been close to an hour. I'm going to get off here. You guys all have, man, I hope you guys had a good Mother's Day. And if she's still alive, or if you don't have family members keeping you from seeing her, I hope you got a chance to tell her you love her and spend the day or maybe even the weekend with them. Hug them, kiss them, enjoy them while you still got them. Because I didn't get that luxury this year, and my mom's still alive. So I hope you guys all did, and I'll pray you guys all do. But make no mistake, folks. God loves you, and so do I. And the only way out of this is through Jesus Christ. So please, please, if not for your own self, if you'll wear a mask for somebody else, if you'll put a mask on to save somebody else's life, then please get on your knees and beg Jesus into your life so I can save your soul. Please, I beg you. I want to see you. I want to help you, or you can help me up the stairway to heaven. I probably need your help. But I want to see you guys on that stairway. I don't want to hear the bus go by and hear you yelling my name as you go by. I don't want to hear that. You guys be good out there, and God bless us all, man. Till the next one, you have a good day. Night.